You guys hear me good? How's it going, guys?
Good.
So, hi everyone. My name is Boedeker, but I'm sure a lot of you in this room probably know me as Cody, and if you don't, please feel free to call me that from now on. Everyone does it. And tonight I'm going to talk to you guys about just what E3, this ministry is. But before I get into that, a little bit about me. So, I'm from Ellsbury, Missouri, which if you don't know where that is, it's an hour north of St. Louis, between St. Louis and Annville. Thank you. So I grew up with a small family, me, mom and dad, older brother. I grew up on a farm, had cattle, row crops. Yeah, so big St. Louis Blues fan, grew up an hour from St. Louis. Also really enjoyed college football, which I'm so excited that we're getting back to game days, let me tell you. I'm a general ag major. I'm a fall 2020 grad, so I've still got a year and a half here. I've got plans to start a master's in psych afterwards and get into rural mental health counseling. But enough about me. You guys are here for to hear about what is E3, and I'm glad to get into that. So, yeah, so like Caitlin said earlier, me and her are the co-coordinators for E3 for the 2019-2020 school year. And I'm so excited to be working alongside her and the rest of the E3 team. We're excited to bring some great talks to you guys. We're going to have topics out soon, so that way, instead of me being up here talking for 20 minutes, it can be one of you guys talking about some really awesome topics. So, yeah, if you have any questions after tonight, feel free to reach out to me or Caitlin. Questions, just want to chat, introduce yourselves, that type of thing. So yeah, with that, you might be wondering, what is E3? So E3 is our weekly ministry, where usually a fellow student gets up here, gives a talk that our E3 is laid out over a schedule of the semester. In the past, we've had priests, religious sisters, focus missionaries, focus team directors get up here and give some really amazing talks. And really just impart some of their great wisdom upon us. So these talks involve personal testimony, and normally are drawing from scripture and theological living. We've had talks about dating, saints, miracles, deep ideas like spiritual warfare and moral relativism. And these are all topics that students have wanted to hear about in the past. So when I say this is student run, this is student run. We talk about what you guys want to talk about. It's run by people that are in the same classes as you, going through the same things as you. But we do more than talks. We praise God using our voices in praise and worship like we just did. We come together to catch up with friends and make new ones, experience the Blessed Sacrament during adoration nights, and experience God's mercy when we host confessions. It's not a replacement for Mass, though. I just want to make that clear. What we do here is supplemental. It's a way to expand your knowledge, grow closer with others, and gain a sense of Catholic community that is very hard for us to find anywhere else. So E3 draws its name from Paul's letter to the Ephesians, chapter 3, which originally I had this great big plan to break down through that entire chapter and go through it in one minute. But I realized starting out the semester and starting at the talks with basically a Bible study over Ephesians chapter 3 was not a good idea and not a great way to start things off. So I'm not going to do that. So instead, I decided we'll look at a specific verse which the founders of E3 back in 2013 felt really resonated with what their goals for new ministry were. So verses 17 through 19, which read as follows. So that Christ may dwell in your hearts. Oh, we don't have that anymore. There we go. So that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power, together with all the Lord's holy people, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. So, with that, E3 meets this. E3 is about knowing and hearing God's love, praising God's love, sharing God's love in community. It's all present here. It's all present in what we're doing here. Looking back through the talks I've witnessed, I can connect in my mind every single one to that. You're good. But for me personally, thinking about E3 brings to mind one part of Acts, chapter 2, verse 42, which we'll read, and I have kind of a comparison of what we do here and see how what we do here matches up. So they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, using biblical references and launching points for the talks we do here. Fellowship, we come together in this space to listen and learn, to pray, to talk, sing, and laugh together, to afterwards going on late night Addisons and 80s trips, to the breaking of bread, sacraments such as adoration and reconciliation, after talks, and the prayer. We pray in and out every week. We praise God through song, and we're holding adoration. And we hold adoration during E3 multiple times throughout the semester. But there's one on that list that I feel really hits home what E3 is to me, and it's that idea of fellowship. It goes so much deeper, not just with E3, but with the new community in general, than just a group of church friends. It's trips on Saturday nights to go to 54 Country near Fulton, not too far from here, to go line dancing. It's hiking at one of the multiple parks in Columbia. Going to Addison's, like I just mentioned, to enjoy a plate of nachos during the late night meal. Parties that are dedicated to the Oreo cookie. Those have happened. They're honestly a lot of fun. And fairly spontaneous barbecues at people's apartments. But yet, these are also people that you'll find having deep conversations about their spiritual life. You'll find them dedicated to prayer and adoration in the Reservation Chapel, furthering their relationship with God. They're willing to talk about their spiritual lives. They're willing to talk about the trials that they've been going through recently. And they're not afraid to ask for prayers, whether it's in person, whether it's in a group meeting in New Fam. This community we have is one that, above all, desires Jesus and pushes those in, willing to engage with them, and pushes those in, willing to engage with the community further and further towards His love. So a great saying I heard about a Catholic community, I believe it was at Seek this past January, was that when you're aflame with the Holy Spirit, with the fire of the Lord, you're like a piece of charcoal. Isolated, the wind will snuff you out. But surrounded with other pieces, surrounded with others aflame in the love of the Lord, you will create a blazing bonfire that no wind will be able to snuff out. But why? Why are so many of us at the Newman Center after 9 p.m. during Syllabus Week? Why are we here? Like, what is it that makes us keep coming back? So a personal goal that I've set kind of for myself this year is to be willing to ask why more. Because the question why is so hard to actually answer if you have to think about why. You can answer like who, what, where, when, but why? It's about intention. It's about what specifically is it that makes you want to do something. And so what I did is I asked a few people around the Newman community why they come to E3. So for everyone in the room, whether you're a returner or if you're brand new to E3, which is welcome if you are, I'm going to read a few of these off, and if this is something that resonates with you, please feel free to raise your hand. Half the time, I come for the peaceful break. The other half, it's to see my friends. We'll get there. We'll get there. I go to learn something new, worship Jesus, and have fun with friends. I go because it's a good opportunity to build up the Newman community, especially newer and younger people, and to strengthen relationships with people I might not hang out with often. I like praise and worship and hanging out with people and listening to the talk sometimes. I'll be honest, I don't listen to every talk, so it's good. Consistent time to be fed spiritually, not even from the talk, adoration, or praise and worship, but from being with some of the best people on campus for an hour community. Okay. So yeah, when I asked people this, I had no idea what answers I was going to get, and I was very surprised to see the answers, but it was cool to see. For us, returning members of the community, we all have our reasons that we keep coming back. And so what I want you to do, just consider yours and begin to kind of think about how you can invite others into this, how you benefit from the space we have here, and how others can be invited into it as well. For me, like one thing that was really important to me with this ministry, especially this past year, was I value this human community tremendously. Especially in the last semester, I was going through, I was struggling with some mental health issues, and I found myself really leaning on the strength that my relationships around here really provided me. And he didn't provide that for me. So we're going to travel back to 2016 when I was a freshman, and I would call myself at the time non-religious. I did not have a relationship with God, really at all. Born, raised Catholic, baptized, confirmed, but at this point in my life, I wasn't attending Mass, period. That fall semester, I think I went once, and it's because a friend of mine basically dragged me to a holy day baptism. I was going through a lot of mental and spiritual turmoil at the time for various reasons I won't really get into here, but just was not thriving at this point in my life. So spring comes around, and things are doing better for me. I'm rebounding, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna do this college thing, we're gonna kill it. And for that fall semester and in the spring, I had a friend who kept inviting me to come around this place it's called Newman, which, as I said, I'd been to Mass there once, and then when I got dragged to root beer floats at the very beginning. So I was just kind of like avoiding it, and then in March of 2017, I was like, okay, I'll do it this once, say I don't like it, and then never come around again. You can see how that went, for one. So yeah, my friend, she brought me to an E3, and what I found was a community that I'd never seen before. You heard me mention Ellsbury earlier. Just to give you a kind of a picture, I graduated with 51 people in my class and went to public school. Out of that, 4 of us were Catholic, and I never really saw they were Catholic in that I would see them occasionally at Mass, like Christmas, Easter. But other than that, not really that much. So I found a community that was appealing to me. And it was alien, but also so incredibly warm and welcoming. A warmth and welcome that being involved in E3, I've always felt E3 through the years. It was so weird to me that I could come somewhere, learn about a faith that I had a lot of questions about, and have them answered in a setting like this, and meet genuinely good people at a time in my life where I really needed good, authentic friendships. And so yeah, from there you could find me every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. in this room. And what that eventually developed into, you might have heard me mention it a couple times already. Generally what would happen, go to E3, we'd hang out here for a bit, and then a group of us would go to Addison's. You've heard me mention Addison's a lot. If you can't tell I like Addison's. Consider this an open invitation. You're invited to come to Addison's with me. I'll be going tonight, so. And so I was able to just hang out and get to know people in this like really relaxed setting, where like it didn't even feel like I was never thinking like these are like really church people. I was like, these are just college people, college kids like me, going through the same thing, dealing with the same issues. So yeah, E3 was for me a gateway. It was a stepping stone back into my faith that I had lost for a good portion of my life. Like I said towards the beginning of this talk, this is not a replacement for Mass. So go to church on Sundays. There's a lot of Masses, go find them in the pens that are everywhere. And this ministry, it's not perfect. There's things that can be improved on, and if you can think of something to improve on, please, we'd love to hear it, because, like I said earlier, this is student run. We can't do this without you guys, and we need your feedback. In March of 2017, I told a friend, yeah, sure, I'll go. And it's possibly one of the best yeses that I've given over the past nearly 22 years, because it led me to saying the ultimate yes to living a life of Jesus Christ. And that has been so transformative. I went from, starting to attend this the same night that I attended E3. I ran into a friend of mine or not really a friend, those like class friends that like you like talk and hang out in like the class you have together, but then after that class ends, you just never really bother talking to him again. I ran into one of those. He recognized me and he's like, "Hey, you want to join my Bible study?" And I'm like, "All right." And so yeah, I've been in that Bible study since freshman year, and I've met some of my best friends on this campus, on this earth, in that Bible study. We're gonna get really sappy here. So I would say my best friend, sweet Walmart, Mr. Tyler Peterson, CSA president, met him that night. Met him through that Bible study. I mean, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. But like but not just Tyler. Some other people, Sam and Cooper, that I know are here tonight. If I'm missing anyone, sorry. But the men I met in that Bible study to this day continue to push me in my faith and lift me up when I falter. And quite frankly, there's no one else that I'd rather be running alongside towards Christ. And like that relationship, my friendship with Tyler is the greatest example to me of what a pure, holy friendship, where you're striving for God together and you're pushing each other towards what He has to offer is. I found myself wanting to explore the Mass more, which growing up, Mass to me was just like this hour where I just kind of had to stand, sit, kneel, stand, walk, up to a point, just get like lesson and go, and then eventually communion. But it was just very like, okay, an hour on my Sunday morning where I had to get up early and wear clothes that I don't normally wear. Great. But coming back into it, I was like, wow, Mass is actually really cool. And like actually engaging with it, for one, engaging with the Mass, if you're like, wow, Mass goes on for a while, it makes it go so much quicker. Let me just suggest that to you. Engage with it and get part of it. I found myself attending retreats and trips where I heard wonderful speakers share the message of God's love to college students, just like you and me. I began actually leading a Bible study, which our wonderful E3 band, who I think did phenomenal tonight. I'm going to compliment them. They're in that Bible study. I think they kind of crossed me and I didn't, but in that Bible study, I strive to lead those men in an understanding of God's Word and influence lives, just like how older students and others have influenced mine. Today, I find myself closer to God and His love than ever before, and I find myself striving to grow in that love and that relationship with Him, all because of that first yes that I gave to come into this. So tonight, I want you to think about how God might be asking you to say yes. To sharing wisdom, to delving deeper than maybe you dared to go before. To grow in community with those around you. Reflect back to verses 17 through 19 of Ephesians 3. The desire to know the vast size of God's love and how this ministry is reflective of it. And as you find that out, we'll be here. E3 will be here every week, except Thanksgiving break. Ready to give you a platform to share that wisdom you've gained, and to grow in fellowship with others. And maybe you're a freshman. Hearing about my experience with Bible study really has you itching to join one. Well, do I have good news for you? August 27th and 29th, we've got Bible study lunch parties. You should come. It's going to be fun. Maybe, and for maybe our returning students, perhaps you find yourself in a similar situation as my freshman year. And to that, I say keep trying. It might be the second, or the third, or the fourth, the fifth. In my case, the sixth. I went back and found the texts. I was stubborn. But don't lose faith. By extending that offer and by being an example of God's grace through yourself to others, eventually you might be surprised that no you keep hearing has become a yes. And from that yes, great things can happen. There's such a joy to being a part of this community, to this ministry, to Newman in general. It's a joy that I felt. It's a joy that I hope many of you feel, and it's a joy I hope many of you are going to feel this semester. That joy that's found living in community with our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you.